change the course of our life, it is necessary that we have 7 factors fully understood by us. The whole life is a mess only because of misunderstanding about everything. Misunderstanding begins about ourselves, about the world, about everything that we can think of. And as long as this misunderstanding is, we cannot have peace of mind and fulfillment in existence. The fear that we are all carrying in our heart unknowingly is the biggest burden that we are suffering from. I remember one man, very rich man, very nice cloth made, and one day he came with great confidence talking to me secretly. He said, Swamiji, there is nothing which is lacking in my life. There is no problem. But the fear of death has gone so deep in me that because of that I have lost my sleep. I have that funny notion that if I go to sleep and if I don't wake up, and therefore I am neither able to go to sleep, and when you don't have a good sleep at night, the whole day next day is spoiled. And therefore my life has become miserable. So, as long we are carrying this load of fear of these 2 things, old age and death, and this fear is reflected in all the activities of our life. And you will see, fear grips the men more than the women. Women are very strong. Men are weaklings. Had they not been weaklings, why will they marry? Isn't it? And therefore, if we want to get rid of this fear, we have to have clear understanding about what is the reality, then what we think we are, what the world is, what is the meaning of karma, what is the meaning of the God who has created this world. Up to here we have seen. Now the last but one question is adhijagyaha. So Arjuna asked this question, adhijagyaha katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana. Hey Madhusudana, who is the adhijagya in this particular body? Now be very attentive. This is one factor which many people, after going for satsang hundreds and thousands of lives, they are not able to clear this knot. If you clear this knot, the whole spiritual life is with a snap. See, the pure consciousness is never destroyed. The matter, the body, the prana, etc. also does not suffer. Because in the healthy body, the same 5 elements remain. In the unhealthy body, the same 5 elements remain. Health is supported by the same body. Disease is supported by the same body. Similarly, consciousness is present in the healthy body, unhealthy body. Consciousness is present in the live body and the dead body. Please understand this. Had there been no consciousness in a dead body, the dead body would not have undergone modifications that we see. When the dead body is left, it starts getting putrefied and disintegrated. How this happens? So that principle, the consciousness is present both in the living body and the dead body. What is that which makes the body living or the living body different from the dead body? If this riddle is solved, most of the problems will be solved. And the riddle is solved like this. Take an example to understand this point. The bulb on one side, equivalent to our body, and electricity on other side, equivalent to consciousness. When the bulb is not emitting light, there is no loss for the bulb. It can remain in the cover, in the shell, no problem. And when there is no bulb attached to the socket, electricity doesn't suffer. Then what is the bulb? Two types of bulbs. One is dead bulb, which is not expressing light. And second is enlivened bulb, through which the light comes out. So what is the light? Light is the expression of electricity through a conditioning, and that conditioned expression is called as live bulb. Now apply the same principle. Consciousness expressing through the body as the mind. When consciousness expresses through the body as mind, then this mind starts creating an individuality. So all our spiritual practice is working on this mind. Now the light, again come back to the example. When one bulb fuses or one bulb is broken, what has happened to electricity? Nothing. What has happened to the light which was coming out of that bulb? Nothing. Because electricity continues to express as light through other bulbs. So the principle that electricity expresses as light through a proper equipment, that principle is never destroyed. So when one bulb is fused or broken, in fact, nothing happens to either electricity or the expression of electricity as light or the institution called as a bulb. In the same manner, when one body becomes incapable of expressing the consciousness as mind, that body is destroyed. But again, so many bodies are created. And through every body, the same consciousness is expressing as mind, and an individuality is born. See? So, two terms are used by Bhagavan Sri Krishna here. One term is Purusha. Purushasthadhi Daivatam. And the second term is Adhiyajna. So what is the difference between Adhiyajna and the Adhidaiva? So yesterday we have seen Purusha Adhidaiva is nothing but Hiranyagarbha, the total potentiality to express as individuality. If you remember yesterday's example, I gave you the seed which is kept in the water is swollen and the potentiality is ready to germinate. So for the totality of the creation, that one seed out of which the total variety of names and forms is expressing, that is called as the Purusha or the Adhidaiva. Be very attentive. Therefore, the Purusha or the Adhidaiva is the expression of the latent, dormant, unmanifest impressions stored in the seed. Now take an example to understand this point. When we are sowing the seed, two seeds we have sown. One that of mango and other that of, let us take turmeric. So, mango and turmeric, imli, these two seeds. Now, when these seeds are sown, then slowly they start germinating. So, that energy, which is common for both the seeds to germinate, is the adhiyajna. And that aspect of the energy, which is bringing out only the mango tree out of the mango seed and the turmeric tree out of the turmeric seed, that is the Purusha or the Adhidaiva. See? Make it very clear in your understanding. Now to understand this, take any other example. For example, my hand. Now this hand is having two energies simultaneously functioning. One is the divine energy and the second is the energy of my desire. So when I desire that let me wipe my face, as a result, the action of my hand of wiping my face is the manifestation of the Purusha or the Adhidaiva. But this desire to wipe my face by my hand is possible only if the divine energy is gracing this hand. See? So there are two aspects. One is the energy which is carrying the load of impressions, samskar. And second is that immaculate pure energy which has nothing to do with the samskar. See how simple it is. So this principle which is supporting the total world, whether it is the reproduction of the human being or the binary fission of the viruses or the bacteria, or whether it is any kind of activity that can be thought of in the total creation, is supported by one reality, and that is called as Adhiyajna. Now see how many things are there now. This all has to be known. With this knowledge, when you start living, then really life is lived. Or else we are merely carrying the load of death while living. I was reading something while coming. There are people who leave the body with a smile on the face. And here are we. We cannot live in the body with a smile on the face. How important it is. So this smile on the face can come only when we are bathing in the light of wisdom and living that knowledge every moment. Therefore, friends, these 7 points, out of that we have taken 6 so far. So first is Aksharam Brahma Paramam, that absolute reality without reference to any context. In absolute there is no reference, because there is only one without a second. So that is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Second is Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate, the Jiva Bhava, the individuality, the ego, the soul. The third thing is Bhuta Bhavo Bhavakaraha Visargaha Karma Sannitaha. Our lifestyle should be such that we become purer and purer and grow on the scale of evolution to discover our essential nature. That lifestyle is called as the real karma, leading to karma yoga and freedom from the bondage of karma. All other karma is karma roga. And the fourth is Adhibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha. So this world has one unchanging principle, that it is constantly changing. Once you accept this principle, that the world is constantly changing, you will neither blame anybody, nor will you expect anything from anybody. Then fifth, Purushascha Adidaivatam. The individuality is always having reference to totality. So that total Purusha, Virat Purusha, is Hiranyagarbha, that is called as Purusha, Adidaiva, and Adhiyajna is Adhiyajna Hamevatra Dehe Deha Vrutambara. O best among the human beings, hey Arjun, this one immaculate reality supporting all the beings is me. Now, last time I probably told you, here somewhere there is one beauty parlor. And Swamiji, how do you know beauty parlors? Sarvagya. What is wrong in that knowing beauty parlor? So, there it is written. Don't whistle at the lady coming out of the beauty parlor. Maybe she is your grandmother. Now, the moment I whistle at some girl and she looks back, when I whistled, what was my attitude? Eve teasing. Isn't it? And when she looks at me, Dadima, namaste, suddenly change. The attitude of bhoga is changed into the attitude of yoga. See the difference. So when we look at the world with this changed attitude, the whole world is most beautiful. There is nothing wrong in this world. If there is something wrong somewhere, it is in our eyes, nowhere. And therefore, Adhiyajnyo Hamevatra, when we come to recognize initially through ignorance, just start accepting. This is what the Upasana teaches. We go and buy one murti from the market after bargaining. And after we bring that murti, keep in our own puja and start doing the puja and to that murti which we have bargained and bought. Then we feel that, hey, Krishna, 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 see that my daughter gets married and I am free. That Krishna which you have bought, in that piece of metal, we are trying to see the divine presence. See, that is only practice. The same thing the teacher says here. In everything and being, it is that one reality here referred as the supreme I. Once our attention is focused on that reality, what will happen? Our bhoga drishti, the attitude of enjoying the world all the time, will disappear. And we will live in this world with an attitude of service, surrender, respect and submission. When these things become really available to in our heart, such a person is no more an average individual. He is someone exceptionally grown spiritual aspirant. So, Adhiyajnyo Hamevatra Dehe Deha Vrutambara. It is something like this. Many people do this technique. They will bring something for me to eat, which I don't want to eat. But the love is what? You should do what we tell. Then it is love. So, I want to pass it on to somebody. But they will no, we don't want. Then what do I do? This is Prasad from Tirupati. Now, okay, Prasad. Now, earlier it was a sweet given to you. You rejected. Because it was a bhog. I have got sugar. I am putting on weight. Doctor told me not to eat the sweet. Therefore, even the sugar, I don't take in my tea or coffee. But when it is prasad, how can I say no? Give little more. Now what is that? Only the vision has changed. It is no more a sweet meat, but it is the prasad. In the same manner, when we are able to recognize the divine presence in all the things and beings all the time, can we have the attitude of indulgence and enjoyment? It cannot be. How important it is. Therefore, friends, living a life in a scientific manner is changing our vision. Living life in a scientific manner doesn't mean, I don't know if I told you once, there is one great Marathi writer. In his book, he has written this. He said, when I went for the first time to US, that person in whose house I went, he started telling me so many things and I got disgusted. He said, when we came out of the aeroplane, he was there to receive me at the gate. Then there are big, big gates. The moment you go, you don't have to open. It is automatically opened. And then he started his automatic philosophy. He said, Swamiji, here you don't have to. Just stand, automatically the door opens. Then we went to the car. Swamiji, see, from a distance, automatically car opens. So he has that small, remote control, automatically opens. See, I have not touched, it is open. And one after another, automatic. We went home. There also everything automatic. Finally, he said, after taking food, he said, you don't have to search for the knob. You put your hand, automatically the water comes. Even when you go to the toilet, there is a sensor. So it automatically gives the flush. Oh. Then I asked him, may I ask you one question? Yes. When you sit on the commode, automatically it happens, you have to try. That is not the scientific lifestyle. It is a lazy lifestyle. The scientific lifestyle is changing our vision. See how important it is. And once our vision has changed, then alone we will change our total life. If that has not happened, then as the age advances, we try to look younger and younger, and the beauty of the old age is lost, and the ugliness of the younger age is brought surfaced. Isn't it? Old age has got its own beauty. In Urdu they say, खंडहरों से पता चलता है कि जमाने में एक इमारत बुलंद. But a khandar should be khandar. It should not be plaster of Paris here and there. Therefore, the real scientific life is changing our vision. And that is what we are looking. So here is the formula for changing the vision. Now, after we have heard these 6 things, now what is the most important thing for us in our life? Think. Will we be too much attracted towards anything else, or only that adhiyajna who is available in and through the total creation without any biasness? Without him nothing can exist. If we know the Prime Minister, should we bother about other chief ministers? No. In the same manner, if we hold on to that reality, everything is taken care of. And therefore, the last question Arjuna has asked, what was that? Prayana kale katham jneyosi niyatatmavihi. Oh Lord, kindly tell me, at the time of departure from this body, those who have absolute control over their mind, how such people are able to remember you? One. Second, what is the need to remember you at the time of dying? So, kindly tell me this. Now, this seventh question the teacher says. Now, this question is explained in the whole of the remaining verses. So, first 6 questions are replied in 2 verses. And the 7th question is replied in the remaining 24 verses. This is how the question answers in 8 chapter is classified. Now, the teacher is replying the 8th question, 7th question. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaran yap prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samchaya. The rule is, he who is remembering me means what? That adhiyajna, for whom everything is being done. Now be very attentive. The food is eaten not for the tongue. The colors and forms are seen not for the eyes. But there is someone behind the tongue, behind the eyes. So these are only instruments. Similarly, all good and bad experiences that the jiva or the individual soul is going through, they are for someone who is expressing as the soul. That is the ultimate reality. So that aham, the teacher says, antakale means the last moment. Now what is the last moment? Where it will come? I'll tell you a funny event. One of my very good friend, he is a Bhagat type. He doesn't believe in anything except Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He just doesn't believe in anything. Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and nothing. Only Bhagwan ka naam lo, that's it. And he's a Mahanta. And a very good person at heart. So he told me, Swamiji, you stop this running and giving lectures to the public. I feel pity on you. You are just running, and you are giving lecture. Do you think anybody is changing? The world is same, useless. Don't waste your energy and time. So I was keeping quiet. I said, then what will I do? Who will give me food without talking? Papi पेट के लिए सब कुछ करना पड़ता है. He said, Swamiji, that I'll take care. You come and stay with me. See beauty, his heart is so big. Come and stay with me. I'll give you independent room. No work to do. Do whatever you want to do. Study, read, write, all by yourself. Food will be supplied to you. Your clothes will be washed. And you will have no problem. And I asked him. He said, and when you will die, I will take care of your disposal also. What more you want? So I was keeping quiet. Then he said, Swamiji, you are younger than me. Therefore, you are going to die earlier than me. And you are elder than me, not younger. He is younger than me. So, Swamiji, you are elder than me. So, you are going to die early. And I am going to die later. So, I will first finish you and then leave this world. So, when he said like that, I asked him, I said, I very much appreciate your offer to die. But the question is, how can you say this? Because somebody is elder, he should die first. There is no seniority list. For dying, you require a qualification. There is no reservation. So, in short, when we are going to die, nobody can tell. Every moment is the possible moment of our death. That means antakala. So what is the last moment? Last moment is the now moment. This is what in Bhagavad Mahapuran it comes. Parikshitji was cursed that on the seventh day the snake will come and bite him and he will die. And we start thinking, thank God I was not Parikshit. Maharaj, all of us are Parikshit. That 7 depends on where from you start counting. If you start counting from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Sabbath day, that. If you start counting from Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in this manner, every day is the 7th day. And every one of us is a Parikshit. And every one of us will be bitten by the cobra of time. Kalaha Jagat Bhakshakaha. See, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says such beautiful. This composition of Bhagwan Shankaracharya is so enchanting. Ayurnashati Pashyatam Pratidinam Yati Kshayam Yauvanam Pratyayanti Punargatana Divasa Kalo Jagat Bhakshakaha Lakshmi Stoya Taranga Bhanga Chapala Vidyutchalam Jeevitam Tasmat Mam Sharanagatam Sharanada Tvam Raksha Rakshadhuna. Every day that passes from our life, we are approaching death. That is the reason when parents become 60 or 80, the children celebrate their birthday to remind them. But the parents start thinking, oh, my son is so loving, He told me that, Mama, now this is your 80th birthday. Should we celebrate? Means what? Ab kab jaogi? And pratyayati punargatana divasa. And every moment that we have lost, it cannot be recovered. In the vehicle of time, there is no reverse gear. You cannot come back. And therefore, antakala is now and now alone. Our Swami Khandanji tells one story. He said, there was, those earlier days, photography was not that advanced. And particularly in India, when the photographer has to take the photograph, he has to tell 10 times, Ismail please. Because we don't laugh. He smile. And you see the Western people, for no reason, they will show 32 teeth. That is a sign of close-up. So, in those days, one family decided, let us have a photograph. So that tripod and that camera with the plate and with the black color cloth on the head of this thing, and everybody has done nice shaving, clean, good clothes and all that. Everybody standing. And UP is a place where every population is maximum, whether human beings or the mosquitoes or the flies. So, when that whole family was standing for taking a photograph, Dadaji is near the nose and the lip. One fly came and landed. And that photographer told, ready? At that very moment, Dadaji did like this. Because the fly was creating a problem. And that was the antakal. The snap was taken. And when the photograph was shown, Dadaji became angry. He have taken everybody's photograph very nice. Why not mine? Because the last moment you missed. See? Therefore, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaran. He who departs from the body by remembering me at the last moment of his life means what? Means he who remembers me all the time, because every time is the last moment. This is the meaning. Now see what happens. This is very scientific. Try to catch it. Any thought that you take, every thought breeds the second generation of thought. Suppose you want, let us say, a cup of tea. So the thought comes, ha ha, if I get a cup of tea. Now the thought doesn't die there. Then, where from to get? Should I prepare? Should I tell somebody? And I know if I tell my wife, she is going to bounce. Then shall I tell the servant slowly? Because if she knows, she will make still a mess. See, one after another, so many thoughts. Now, instead of that, take another thought. The Lord's name. Sri Ram. Sri Ram. So, I want to have a cup of tea is a thought. And Sri Ram is also a thought. But what is the difference? The difference is, I want a cup of tea is followed by a series of next generation of thoughts. And there is no end to that. Because after you get a cup of tea, sukhi chai. There is no high tea. Rainy season, garam garam mircha pakora ho jaye. So there is no end to that. On the contrary, when you take the Lord's name, what happens? Lord being complete, His name is complete. And therefore, after chanting the Lord's name, there is no other thought born. And therefore, keep on chanting the Lord's name. Slowly, slowly, the mind will have only one theme. Only the Lord, and the Lord. Such a mind, which is now no more thinking about the world, will not be reduced to the world after the body is dropped. Therefore, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. What happens to such a soul, such a jiva? Yaha prayati saha madbhavam yati. He who thus leaves the present body by remembering the Lord, he is ultimately merging in the Lord. This is the principle. Now see, we are all, after this we go home. Where we will go will depend on the last thought in our mind. Suppose one thought is very prominent. I have to go home and cook. I have to go home and cook. I have to go and cook. But that thought will be so powerful that thought will take you only to home. And if you have no commitment, after lecture, I don't know what will I do. There is no commitment. Yes, there is commitment. Come, eat. That is only meant. No direction, no goal, nothing in life. Like a round bottom flask. Sometime here, sometime there. In the same manner, when we leave this body, if the last thought is that of the divine remembrance, we merge into the same divine. See friends, this is the last truth of our life. Don't think that our saints and sages were mad people. You take any religion, whether Hindu, Muslims, Christians, Sikh or any religion you talk about, they are always advocating Nam, Nam, Satanam, Satanam. Keep on taking the Lord's name. Because that alone will remove the load of unwanted thinking from our mind. And such a mind becomes qualified to enter the divine kingdom. So, yaprayati samadbhavam yati. As we think, so we become. And Bhagavan says further, nastyatra samshayaha. Don't doubt this. One very important thing. See, when we start studying any scientific subject, we all start on the foundation of faith. Suppose you take chemistry, for example. Now all those 102 metals, for each metal they are given some kind of abbreviated formula. Zn means this, Cu means copper, Au means gold. So one by one they are given. And when we start studying our chemistry, we start accepting that what is told in the basics about any subject is the truth. See, if I say, I don't believe in this formula, we cannot progress in life. If you remember, I told you one story about a child. The child was having that argument always. Why A is written like this? There is no logic. It is written like this. You have to start from there. No. Unless I know why A is written like this, I will not study. And parents, out of their love, foolishly say, my child is so intelligent that he doesn't study. Now, is it intelligence? The way that treated that child in a very simple, spiritual manner. I said, come, we'll sit together and study. And then I told him, you know why A is like this? He asked the same question. I said, let us start. A for apple, right? He immediately says, Swamiji, the trump card he took out. Tell me why A is written like this. He thought he was dealing with his mother who loves the foolishness of a child. I said, do you know the reason? Because this hand, you see, hand will come down with a speed of 5,000 miles per second and it will land on your face. Because of this reason, A is written like this. Immediately, yes, Swamiji. Now what logic is there? There is no logic. We have to begin anything in our life only with a blind faith. Isn't it? When we left from our home, did not we begin that when I go to Prempuri, there won't be any accident on the road and I will not be sandwiched? No, it will not happen to me. It will happen to others. I am not right. On the foundation of faith alone, our life is possible. Therefore, nastyatra samchayaha. Do not doubt this scientific principle expounded by the teacher, by the scriptures, and by all the great masters in this world. Don't doubt that. Because in the 4th chapter, the teacher told us, samshayatma vinashyati. The one who is a doubting Tom is destroyed certainly. Therefore, nastyatra samshayaha. Now, on what basis you are telling these things, sir? Bhagavan says in the 6th verse, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. You know, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, there is a story. There was a great saint Bharatji. And he was a big king. After that, Bharat only, our India is named as Bharatvarsha. And this Bharatji, he was the son of the Rishabdev, the Moola Purush among the giants. So, this Bharatji was the first son of Rishabdev. After ruling the world or the kingdom for hundreds and thousands of years, then he decided enough is enough. He handed over the kingdom to the next and went to the forest to do tapasya, vanaprastha. And he started. And one day it so happened that when he was doing his Sandhyavandanam and puja and chanting the Lord's name, suddenly from somewhere a tiger roared. And there one pregnant deer was grazing. And there was a beautiful rivulet. So when the roar was heard by the deer, she jumped out of fear across the rivulet. And in that, she dropped the baby from her womb. She was probably due for delivery. And that baby fell in the water. So this Rishi, this Bharatji Maharaj, he felt very compassionate. He got up, left everything, saved that dear baby, and started looking after Mera beta, Mera shona, Mera beta, Mera shona. This is one thing I can never understand the human psychology. Those who have got daughters, they call their daughter as son. And those who have got sons, they call their son as daughter. Bevukufi ki had. This is how, two in one. When you call the daughter as a beta, she don't have to bother for the next issue. So, he started playing with that dear baby. And slowly, that dear baby became grown up. And this Bharatji became so attached. And when that baby became grown up, came in puberty, naturally she will run away with the boyfriends. And she ran away. When she ran away, now this Bharatji Maharaj was totally frustrated. Without her, how can I live? Now she doesn't know how to pluck the grass because I was plucking and giving. I was giving the milk through the bottle. And now there is nobody to change the nappy. And what will happen? And continuously thinking about that same baby all day and night. And in frustration, he left the body, remembering dear. Next life, he became the deer. In this story is clear, yam vapi smaran bhavam, whatever bhava, thought you have had at the time of leaving the body, Tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya. Hey Kunti Putra Arjun, you get the next life in that form. Whatever is the last thought that you have at the time of leaving the body, that last form is your next body. My doggy, without the dog, I cannot go to bathroom. Without the dog, I cannot go for a walk. Without the dog, I cannot eat. I sleep with the dog. Dog, fetch. Next life, wow. See? Very clear. I am not creating the story. And therefore, tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. See, the principle given in Bhagavad Mahapurana is, before we leave the present body, we have already determined our next body. See, suppose you have to go to Delhi. Before you have left Bombay, you have already determined your destination. Delhi you have to go. In the same manner, before we leave the present body, we have already determined the blueprint of our next body. The example given in Bhagavad Mahapurana is that of a caterpillar. How the caterpillar walks? First of all, in this manner it walks. First of all, it fixes its front catch or anchor to a spot, and then it lifts the back one. Again, it first catches the front one and then leaves the back one. In the same manner, before we take the next body, we determine which body we have ordered. There was a person who went with his wife to a hotel, came from some village, and when you get married for the first time, and when you go for your honeymoon, etc., both of them try to impress upon each other. And like that, this man, he took his wife to a hotel, big hotel, but he also didn't know English. And he also didn't want to show his wife that he doesn't know. So, he said, "Hey ji, तुसी सानू कित्थे ले आए हो?" Wait, बताओ. And then he decided now how to tell the order when this fellow will come. He will ask in English. And if I tell that I don't know English, I can't read, it is a tohin, it is an insult. So, when that fellow came, he has closed his eyes and Ram. Kya? You get this. And that waiter sees that, sir, gets 2 big size boiled potatoes. And when that plate comes, my God. So she said, why did you call this? See, today is Ashadi Ekadashi. Therefore I have called for this. Oh, very good. You are so considerate. I thought you are going to break my Ekadashi. No. I am Vitthala Bhakta. I cannot do that. And then inside, but if you have to eat only this, why did we come here? Okay, you want something to eat? Yes, I want something nice. Not after going to the hotel eating potato or what? He said, okay, I'll get it. And then he was searching around. On one table, they were eating chicken. And then this fellow was all the attention on the table. And then they ordered, repeat. That is called as repeat, I know now. And then again that waiter comes and he said, repeat. And again the potatoes come. See, therefore friends, very clear, the last thought our mind takes, that is the thing that we get in our life. Therefore, yam vapi smaran bhavan tyajatyam te kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya, because sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Sada, all the time, you are only thinking about the same thing again and again and again. That is why all the science of life is focused only on controlling the uncontrolled modifications of the mind. He who has controlled the mind, the world is under his control. And this is the one thing which is never even thought of by us. Because when the mind control means, we think it is a job of a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist deals with unhealthy minds. Spirituality deals with the healthy minds. Therefore, Bhagavan says in the 7th verse, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmarayudhyacha Mayyarpita mano buddhi mame vaishasya samshayam. And therefore, hey Arjun, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Therefore, let every moment of your life, ma manusmara, remember the Lord. And then, don't sleep. What happened? I had decided, ma manusmara, I am doing that. Bhagavan says, yudhyacha, and lead your life dynamically on war footings. Many people don't understand the import of this word, and one person was talking to me. He said, actually, this war would have been avoided. It is Krishna who was again and again telling Arjuna that you fight the war. And then he quoted this verse to me. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manuspara yudhyacha. He, Bhagavan has told him, Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manuspara, go to Haridwar. How nice it would have been. But he said yudhyacha, yudhyacha. Please understand. Yudhyacha does not mean fight. On the battlefield, what is the type of life we live? 100% alertness. On the battlefield, like a cricket match, when the enemy is coming, we don't say, time please. And then the umpire will come. Ready? Yes, take my cap. No. You have to be 100% alert. If we remain 100% alert, then alone we are nearer to the reality. So, let our life be not lived mechanically carrying the load of life. See, one day one person asked me this question that, Swamiji, please tell us, you are talking about this Gita, Upanishad for so many years. Don't you get bored about the same Bhagavad Gita, same Upanishad and the same audience? Don't you get bored? And then he told me, I am a college professor. Initially I used to really enjoy teaching. But now there is no charm in that. And I don't know how you can continue years together the same thing. I said, do you know the difference? Difference is, you are going to the college to teach as your duty to earn money mechanically. And when life becomes mechanical, it loses its charm. See? If life is lived with inspiration, with cheer, with joy, and with freedom of activity, then every moment is celebrated as the festival of existence. That is how all the great masters in this world, what is that which makes them so happy and cheerful? Only this. They do not lead their life mechanically. See? About this, I'll give an example. One day there was some platform, BHP platform, in US, Detroit probably, and 3-4 of us were called. One was Sushil Muni, second myself, and third one professor from the college who had lot of degrees, professor of philosophy. And first of all, Sushil Muniji was very senior, so I touched his feet. I said, sir, first you start. We will follow your trail. So he spoke on the word Hindu for 1 hour. He brought up to the beginning of the last century, the explanation of the word Hindu. Then he told me, Swamiji Maharaj, from here onward you take over. So I continued the same trail and continued, supported whatever he has said, because that is the platform, BHP platform. Now the third person to talk was the professor. Professor has prepared his lecture and many books, many tags, many bookmarks, and with that he went to the podium and kept the whole thing. Now the whole audience was having a totally different frame of mind. But he has prepared a lecture which was decided by him that this should be the type of audience. But the truth was, audience was totally different. And then he thought these two Babajis are starting straight away firing. Why not me? He started. After 10 minutes, he said, excuse me, I am so sorry that I don't know what I am talking. Let me read my lecture. And then he read his lecture all through. See the difference? Whenever you live your life spontaneously, divinity is manifesting through you. Whenever you are leading your life mechanically, life becomes alone. This is what is the meaning. Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Remembering the Lord all the time. Krishna, 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 Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna. And anybody comes from in front there, dhum dharaka, all the time, bhav, bhav, bhav. What is the use of the Jai Shri Krishna? As by default we can bark on the people, when by default we are able to love the world, then alone we are leading our life with spontaneity. So leading life with spontaneity is meant by the word ma manusmara yuddhacha. Now what is the spontaneity? If you remember something very bad in your life, what will be the type of thoughts that will come out of you? Same, frustrated, depressed, dejected. And when you remember one rare event in your life, what a different expression it comes. There was one person, driver probably, long time back. Somebody told a story. He happened to drive Mahatma Gandhi. Another person happened to meet Pancham George in the early 20s of last century. And that Pancham George came to that particular village in UP, and this Thakurji, he shook hand with him. Anybody coming to that village, this is the only topic the Thakur has to say. With this hand, Pancham George, I have shaken hand. When he is making this statement, what will be the expression on his face? No. Because that experience, that remembrance, that you shook hand with Pancham George was a great event in your life. It cannot make you miserable. In the same manner, when that Lord, who is consolidated, solid, without any dilution, and embodiment of absolute bliss, when you think of that blissful reality, how can you lead a miserable life? Therefore, the more we are leading our life with alertness, and how to live with alertness and remember him? Many people have this against me. Swamiji, get married and show how to laugh. That means getting married is a license to be miserable. Continue. See, if you are cheerful and happy, what will happen? You are able to see the beauty in this world. And if you are depressed, dejected, frustrated, demanding recognition, attention, such a person can never have the fulfillment in life. This alertness is called as remembering the Lord. Without this alertness in life, life becomes a mechanical existence and loses all the charm of life. This is why government servants never enjoy life. They do nothing. And yet they suffer. Because there is no charm. There is nothing new. They will go to the office 10 o'clock. You know our Bengal, I told you. In Bengal the rule is 10 to 5, home to home. They leave home at 10 o'clock and they reach home at 10 o'clock. And their argument is, why should we travel from office to the home in our private time? We should travel in government time. And further, when we come to the office, that is more than enough. If you want us to work, you have to give us the overtime. And see, such people, can you imagine that they have either material progress or the spiritual progress? No. They have got nothing but complaints, frustration, and that's it. There is no charm. Leading a life mechanically. Therefore, please remember this. When we are remembering the Lord, it is not only taking the mala in the hand, and then you know that mala gets entangled in the bidi, and then you do this thing, it doesn't come on you. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. No, that is not. That is a cartoon. Most important thing is that if we are remembering the Lord, we are ever cheerful and happy. See? One person, a very good friend of mine, one day he told me, he said, Swamiji, where from you come to the last same conclusion? Whether it is Ramayana, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, whether it is Upanishad, whether it is Bhagavad, whether it is Patanjali Yoga Darshan, whether it is the Vijnana Bhairav, anywhere you guma firake come back to the same point that be happy. I said, okay, be miserable. Is this the purpose of our life? To be miserable or to be happy? Therefore, this is the last word the teacher says. That tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Now, this word anusmara has a different tinge and depth. See, one thing is called as rag. Second is called as anurag. One is called as bhava. Second is called as anubhava. So, bhava means becoming. And anubhava means continuous becoming or being. So, anubhava means a continuity in being. And the word anubhava is born by prefixing the anu to the word bhava. If this is clear, then smara and anusmara means what? Lord is remembering all of us. He has never forsaken us. It is we who have forsaken him. So anusmara therefore means, please remember, Lord is always with us. He has never given hopes from us. See, in the Bhagavad recently, in the 11th canto we are studying, there is a story of Pururva, who was mad, infatuated after that Urvashi, and when she ultimately kicked him and went away, and then he came to realize what nonsense life he has lived. That I have wasted my total life only running after the glitter of this world. And when he comes to realize, thereafter, he focuses his attention totally and fully on the spiritual path. And in that very body, he comes to realize his own blissful nature. Friends, when this is possible for one Pururva, it is equally possible for every one of us. Never give up hopes. He is taking care of us. Only remember this, that he is taking care of us. Ma manusvara. What a tragedy. The Lord has to tell, my dear, I love you. It is something like when the father or the mother has to justify to the children that children, we love you. That is the fall in the cultural value. When the guru has to tell, my dear disciple, I love you and I care for your welfare, then that guru-shishya relationship is no more valid. Think. Ma manusmara. Bhagavan says, I am constantly looking after you. I am constantly taking care of you. Only come to realize, without His will, even we can't breathe. Without His will, even we cannot utter one single word. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim. Means what? Vachalam mukam karoti. This is how it is. A chatterbox is silenced by His will. And when He wills, even a dumb can become an eloquent speaker. Therefore, friends, when the Lord says, Mam anusmara yudhyacha, please remember that I am constantly remembering you and live in that alertness. When you start leading your life in the alertness of the divine presence in and through all our activities of life, then you have started leading the life scientifically. Otherwise, simply going to the temple, giving dhakka here, dhakka there, and talking ill about everybody. Therefore, friends, mai arpita mano buddhi, mameva eshasi asamshayam. This part will take tomorrow and go further as the Lord wants. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.